Clark joining the conversation here. Is it time to start worrying about Action Jackson?
I think so. Listen, they have the number one running attack in all of football because of him. But they also have the second worst passing attack in all of football because of him. And if you know coming into games, particularly against better competition, that you're going to have trouble throwing the foot, he's going to have trouble throwing the football, that puts you at a decided advantage as a defense. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. I got news for y'all. 4 of their last 6 games, he hasn't even completed 60% of his passes. Let's go down the list here. He completed 51% of his passes against Cincinnati, 59% against Philadelphia, 46% of his passes against Pittsburgh, okay? And 58% of his passes against Tennessee yesterday. He doesn't throw the football effectively enough. Now, he's not the only one at fault. If you're John Harbaugh, you've got to get him some additional weapons. You've got to, from a schematics perspective, you've got to do things a little bit better, be a bit more innovative. As Dan Orlovsky and others said this morning, there's no fear factor other than him running the football. There's no real fear factor, and that's not just about him. That's about Harbaugh. And as an aside, by the way, I don't know how the rest of y'all felt, but to me, John Harbaugh, you've been in this league for many, many years. You're class personified. You might not have liked certain things that Tennessee was willing to do at the beginning of the game, going out to midfield, but refusing to shake Vrabel's hand at the end of the game. That was kind of weak. In a loss, you didn't have to go there. I think that was classless on his part. I'd like to say that. But outside of that, what it comes down to is that I'm looking at a guy like Lamar Jackson. He's 23 years of age. Yes, he's got 2 issues, guys. One is throwing the football. You know what the other one is? You're 23 years old. There's one thing, Ryan, please help me out here if you can or if you choose to. There is one thing for folks to look at you and revere you and praise you over your electrifying talent. But at 23 years of age, even though he might be too young to expect this, when you're the quarterback, you've got to have some leadership ability, meaning being able to galvanize the troops around you. Obviously, I'm not holding it against him, but so much because he's only 23. But I need that from my quarterback. And I don't see him as a guy capable of doing that yet. I see the respect they have for him and his greatness. I see them looking at him and marveling over that. But in terms of him being able to get in other guys' faces, holding folks accountable, making sure that the parts around you are all doing their job, his youth comes shining through to me in that regard. That's all I have to say about that.
We'll know what the Steelers will have done by Thursday night because they're playing the Ravens on Thanksgiving. What a huge game in 6 days.
No, it is. And Tampa Bay can't look past the Rams tonight. Looking ahead to Kansas City, get caught looking ahead to Kansas City and mess around and get smacked by the Rams, and then you'll really be in trouble. And I don't think they'll look ahead. Kansas City has an opportunity to see what their opponent is going to look like tonight when they take on the Rams. They can get a feel for what the Bucs are about and how the Rams can attack them and get at them. And I'm sure they'll be dialed in as they game plan, waiting to see what tonight looks like.
You know, I'm curious for tonight, Key. What version of Jared Goff are we going to see tonight?
Hopefully not the Jared Goff that went down to Florida the last time and they played Miami. Hopefully you don't see that Jared Goff, or you don't see first half Jared Goff against the Buffalo Bills. You see a guy who looks like a $100 million quarterback against a defense that a lot of people had as the top in the NFC and now kind of has come back to the pack. The Buccaneers defense was solid and sound early part of the year, but since then they've kind of tailored off a little bit. I know they had a good game against Carolina, but it's the Carolina Panthers a week ago. Now you get a real offense with a real offensive mind coming into town with Sean McVay, the head coach who calls the offensive plays. You got real receivers out there with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Reynolds. You got Jefferson out there. You got tight ends that are there. You got a quarterback, got a running game. It's a little bit different. It'll be a different task for the Bucs defense. But like you said, Jared Goff, what Jared Goff are we going to see? That's going to be key.
No question about it. Once again, hit us up, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Who's the one team Kansas City doesn't want to face in the playoffs? Or if it's easier for you, Key, J, and Z. Key is going with the Raiders. Is the Chiefs defense good enough to win the Super Bowl? You had mentioned they can score a plenty. They tightened up under defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo last year when they had to. But yet again, I'm watching last night's game, and I know you said Derek Carr's playing great football, but they're just moving it up and down the field. Luckily, they got a guy that can move it down the field just one extra time to help you on offense.
Well, it's the opponent. I know you. I'm in your division. I get a chance to see you every single week because I'm watching. Even though I'm not playing against you, I'm probably watching some sort of tape that has you on it because we play the same opponents. So I'm watching you every single week. So I kind of know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. This isn't Green Bay playing the Indianapolis Colts where they've only seen them a handful of times. This is a team that I see twice a year. Plus, you play Denver, we play Denver. You play the Chargers, we play the Chargers. And then the teams that you play outside the division, we play because we're in the same division. If you play somebody in the other conference, chances are we're playing that same team in the other conference. So every single week, even though I'm not studying game film on you, you show up because I'm studying game film on opponents that we both play.
Let's head to the – go ahead, Jay.
I think the Chiefs' defense is serviceable, Key, right?
Absolutely.
And my thing is that their offense is so potent that it almost gives so much pressure on the opposing team's offense to keep up with that pace. Nick Saban this weekend said something I thought was interesting. He said it used to be that good defense beats good offense. And he says good defense doesn't beat good offense anymore. You know what I mean? Good defense doesn't beat I think what he was meaning to say is like if you have a really good offense, it doesn't matter how good your defense is, your offense can outbeat your defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I read it wrong. Sorry.
But
you know what I meant to say.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. But the problem is those defenses aren't around like that anymore. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is not in the NFL right now. The 85 Bears are not around. The Baltimore Ravens defense with Ray Lewis and all those Suggs, and they're nowhere to be found in the National Football League right now. But if you took those defenses that I'm talking about and placed them in the NFL right now, they're going to get the best of them offenses. I was on a Buccaneer team, and our defense was stupid, obviously, playing against a Ram team that was the greatest show on turf. They didn't want no parts of Derrick Brooks now.
Right.
They was laying down.
Stupid good, by the way.
Stupid
for people
good.
that don't know.
No, not stupid smart.
Right.
Stupid good. Stupid good.
And we should mention to Jay's point, right? Saban's a defensive guy, but that's why they've gone to tempo. They've got to realize we have got to score.
Man,
more
Booger
than
McFarland and them dudes, they was going to eat. I know Patrick Mahomes is great and all that, but I'm putting my money on John Lynch and Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice and Booger McFarland and Rondé Barber and Brian Kelly. I'm putting my money on them. I promise you I am. Because I know what they coming to the party to do.
Indeed. Let's go to the party. Let's go to the Dr. Pepper call-in line. We're asking you this morning, one team the Chiefs don't want to face in the playoffs. Hit us up, 888-ESPN, Key J and Z on Twitter if that's easier for you. Clinton in Ohio, you're on ESPN Radio. Who does Mahomes not want to see?
I would guess it would be the Steelers. And the reason why is I think they've had some experience of, like, trying to keep, like, Lamar in the pocket. And I think if they keep Mahomes in the pocket, you got Watt coming in, putting a little bit of heat on him. And I do believe that Steelers have the best defensive line to at least cause them the most problems.
Yeah, he certainly can go with the Steelers. The Steelers are not in the question, right? I mean, it's the Steelers and the Raiders, but I just